Hello and welcome to this video with me, Coach Reese. How are you all doing? Hope you're doing really well. So in today's video we're going to take a look at the 4 different stages of being in possession. Now when it comes to the stages, some people might use 3, some people might use 4. It all comes down to personal preference, and my personal preference is 4, so that's what I'm going to share with you today. I'm not going to go into huge amounts of detail about what's involved within each stage because we'd be here all day. So let's get started. So to help us recognise the 4 stages of being in possession, we're going to break the pitch down into quarters. And our first stage is what we call build-up, and this begins in and around our own defensive area. So in this quarter, we'll see our teams try and play out from the back. So it'll be at quite a high intensity, and there'll be quite a lot of overloads to help the team play out, and we'll start to see our midfield players try and receive it behind the first line of the opposition press. The next stage of being in possession is what we call progression, and it's called this simply because we start to progress our attack forward, we start to move up the pitch. And in this area, this is where we'll start to see our team begin to establish their in possession shape. Usually the first thing that happens as the ball progresses between the build-up and progression, we'll start to see our back 3 be created if that's what we're going to use. So we might see our central midfielder drop between our 2 centre-backs. As we're progressing forward, we'll start to try and see a lot of lateral and vertical support. We'll see a lot of continuous movement begin to happen as we start to try and play forward. So stage 3 of being in possession is called create and penetrate. And this is where we'll see the team almost fully establish their in possession shape. So if it's a 3-2-5 or a 3-3-1-3, whatever that shape looks like, once the team are in this area, we'll pretty much have it established. And in this area, we'll start to really try and look at how we can disrupt an opposition block and how we can get players into dangerous areas. Because it's called penetrate, this is where we're trying to penetrate an opposition's defensive block. So we're trying to release our attacking midfielder or inside forward or strikers, whoever it may be, between the opposition's defensive and midfield lines. Then we can start to really progress forward. Again, like the area before, we'll have a lot of continuous movement in here. We'll start to see a lot of third man runs or third man movements. Just a lot of continuous movement to really try and disrupt that opposition block and try and unlock areas where we can get players into dangerous areas. And the final stage of being in possession is called finish the attack. So as you'd expect, we're pretty much in an area in and around the opposition's goal, and we're trying to get the reward of all the previous stages. We're trying to score that goal. So in this area, we're thinking about how we're going to enter the opposition's penalty area. Are we entering it from wide areas where we might look to create lots of 1v1s or 2v1s to help us enter the box from those areas? Are we using the half spaces? Or are we just going central and trying to, once we've got our attacking midfielder released between the lines, is our attacking midfielder trying to release our striker centrally? And in this area, we're just trying to think about how we can get that goal. How do we finish our attack? Are we shooting from outside the box? Are we shooting from inside the box? All those kind of things. So that's the 4 stages of being in possession. If you do happen to come across someone who's using the 3 stages, what you will find is that progression and create and penetrate tend to get grouped together. There are a lot of similarities between the 2, so it's understandable why that happens. Again, it's just personal preference. The reason I prefer 4 is just because I think the dynamic changes depending on what side of the halfway line you're on. If you're in progression, you tend to play around a block, whereas if you're in create and penetrate, you start to look to play through it. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you found it useful. If you have, remember to like, comment and subscribe. I've been Coach Reese, and I will see you in the next one.